Discover the incredible truth. 12 touching stories exposed that will transform your life forever. Lucy slipped into the worn leather boots that had seen countless early morning shifts at the heart of the Midway. Each step echoed through the familiar diner, the heart of Maplewood. The bell above the door jingled, a modest signal that brought warmth to her day. The aroma of fresh coffee mingled with the scent of sizzling bacon, wrapping around her like a comforting hug. But in her heart, a storm brewed. The vibrant diner, home to laughter and warmth, was on the brink of closure. The very idea made her chest tighten with despair. As she poured coffee for Mr. Tompkins, a grizzled veteran with a soft spot for blueberry pancakes, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was fighting a losing battle. Across town, that shiny new corporate chain was poised to move in, ready to erase the memories stitched into the diner's very walls. Each meal served there contained stories, celebrations of births, quiet moments of loss, and laughter shared amongst friends. Lucy shook off the chill that crept in her bones, determined to remind her community of what they stood to lose. The diner wasn't just a business, it was a haven. Children grew up in booths that had cradled them as babies. Teenagers had slung burgers during summer jobs, their laughter weaving into the fabric of their youth. She thought of her own two kids, their innocent faces and the dreams she wanted to foster. Would they remember this place as a landmark or as another victim of corporate greed? As Lucy's coffee pot clinked against the counter, patrons chatted, their voices a soothing balm against her anxiety. Then, amidst the clamor, an idea ignited within her. If she could string those stories together, a tapestry of community pride, perhaps Maplewood would see the value in protecting their diner. So, one evening, she pulled together a meeting inviting everyone, the veterans, the families, the newcomers. Over homemade pie and endless coffee, they began to weave together their memories, sharing the joys each corner of the diner housed. But just as hope flickered, a divide began to form. Some longed for the shine and promise of the new, while others clung fiercely to the past. Unsure of her own power to unite them, Lucy felt the weight of her mission grow heavier. Each day, as she wiped down countertops and refilled syrup bottles, her internal battle raged on. Could she really stir the collective soul of Maplewood? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Just when things reached a boiling point, the elders, the heart and soul of Maplewood, stepped forward. They shared their stories of service and sacrifice, their words resonating like echoes of a cherished past. Their tales wrapped around Lucy's fears, igniting a renewed sense of purpose. Lucy could feel something shift within the crowd, eyes glistening with understanding, smiles breaking through clouds of doubt. As the corporate chain's groundbreaking ceremony loomed closer, anticipation mingled with dread. Could black and white diner, with its faded sign and flannel-clad waitstaff, triumph over the glimmering facade of corporate America? Standing on the brink of change, Lucy asked herself, Was she strong enough to lead her beloved community back to what really mattered? Or would the heart of the Midway's pulse grow silent amid the noise of progress? The next morning, a restless energy buzzed through the heart of the Midway. Lucy stood behind the counter, her hands nervously twisting a worn cloth. Patrons filled the diner, but her mind raced elsewhere. The elder's words still echoed in her ears, fueling her hope, but beneath that flame lay a creeping doubt. Would they rally behind her, or would the divide widen? As the clock ticked, Lucy's thoughts drifted to the town meeting scheduled for that evening. She had invited everyone, but would they come? Would they truly listen? Sometimes, she feared that nostalgia wouldn't be enough to ward off the shiny allure of the new diner. But still, there was a flicker of belief within her that clung stubbornly to possibility. Mr. Tompkins grabbed a seat at the counter, his familiar, weathered face a beacon of comfort. Sensing her unease, he leaned closer. "You've got a fire in you, Lucy. Don't hide it. Tell them what this place means." His encouragement wrapped around her like a hand-stitched quilt. As she poured his coffee, Lucy thought of the countless conversations, the laughter shared, and the tears shed. "It's more than just a diner," she replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "It's where lives intersect, where stories are born and memories are made." That afternoon, the diner became a hub of vibrant conversations. Patrons swapped stories, their voices knitting together a tapestry of connection and pride. Lucy decided to take their words and document them, scribbling them down during lulls in service. "There's a magic here," she mused, reflection lighting her eyes. Each story was a thread that could weave them all together. One story stood out: Mrs. Petty's tale of how the diner hosted the town's first Christmas celebration, complete with a Santa who surprised everyone with gifts. As Mrs. Petty narrated the details, her hands moved expressively, her eyes twinkling with joy. That night, Lucy planned to share all these tales, hoping they would stir a recognition of shared history. When the sun dipped low, the booth at the center of the diner filled with familiar faces. Lucy's heart raced as she welcomed them all. "Thank you for being here," she began, her voice ringing with urgency. "Tonight, I want to talk about our diner not just as a place of business, but as the soul of Maplewood." She shared the collected stories, watching the crowd's expressions shift, nodding heads. Teary eyes, smiles of remembrance. Each tale sparked a connection, drawing them closer as one. Lucy felt the atmosphere change from a cloud of uncertainty to a warmth radiating through the space. Voices rose, filled with resolve as they echoed back their own cherished memories. Yet, just as her heart began to swell with hope, a voice pierced through the threads of strength. "But what about the new diner?" questioned a younger woman, her brow furrowed. "Why shouldn't we embrace progress?" a murmur spread. Lucy inhaled sharply. She hadn't expected this challenge. Could she confront it head-on? The relentless beat of her heart urged her on to hold space for differing opinions while weaving a path toward unity. "Progress doesn't mean we have to sacrifice our roots," Lucy countered, her voice firm. "We can start new stories while honoring the old. This diner has always been a part of our lives. Let's fight for it." Excitement crackled in the air, mingling with apprehension. As she navigated the conversation, she sensed the spark of something greater shifting within the community. There, amid laughter and shared doubts, they began to envision a way forward together. Could this gathering spark a movement to reclaim their space? The distant sound of construction honked faintly in the background, a constant reminder of the impending change. Lucy's resolve hardened, but the crowd hesitated. Was this the moment they would come together or fall apart? The evening breathed deep silence, pregnant with possibility. Eyes turned toward her, waiting. Was she ready to lead them into this fight for their shared past? Or would far-off progress silence their whispers of unity forever? The room hung heavy with anticipation, as if the walls themselves were waiting for the first hint of decision. Lucy could feel the mix of hope and anxiety, an electric hum that enveloped the crowd. A few patrons exchanged glances, unsure whether to jump aboard her vision or cling to the comfortable notion of change. Right then, old Mr. Tompkins, who had been watching quietly, raised his hand. Lucy's right. Look around, folks. This diner's where we shared those first sips of coffee, flirted with our first crushes, learned to laugh at ourselves and with each other. If we lose this place, we lose our heartbeat. A ripple of agreement surged through the crowd. Some nodded, while others leaned forward on their elbows, eyes glued to Lucy. She took a deep breath, feeling emboldened. What if we started something new? An event? Maybe. Something that celebrates our past, but also invites in that progress. She suggested, her voice growing stronger with each word. What if we host a festival right here in front of the heart of the Midway? We could share stories, songs, and food. Invite everyone from Maplewood and beyond. Soft murmurs began to circulate, a mixture of disbelief and curiosity in their eyes. A festival. It was an idea that painted rich images in Lucy's mind, children running around with cotton candy, music drifting through the air, and laughter spilling from every corner. But then, the young woman who had questioned her spoke up again. And how do you plan on getting the town officials on board? They're so enamored with that new place. I doubt they'll take us seriously. Lucy's heart sank momentarily, but she pushed it down. We tie ourselves into the community's fabric. That's how. She pointed toward Mr. Tompkins. A few stories about how we helped each other through tough times. A reminder that we are stronger when we stick together. The elders were nodding now, murmuring among themselves. Lucy could see the flickers of belief igniting in their eyes once more. We can start a petition. Make sure they hear our voices. Shouted a strong voice from the back, steady with conviction. Yes? Lucy replied, excitement thrumming through her. Let's rally together and make a plan we can all endorse. As the evening progressed, energy, nurtured by shared dreams and unyielding memories, began to bloom. Laughter mingled with undeniable resolve as discussions of potlucks, talent shows, and story circles filled the air. Lucy felt buoyed by the newfound determination of the community. The vision of their festival started taking shape, fragile yet promising, like a newborn bird testing its wings. But even amid the excitement, Lucy felt the lurking shadow of doubt. Could they really pull this off against the tide of progress? The tapping of hammers and the clattering of construction echoed in the distance, a relentless reminder of what was at stake. But then came a voice, soft yet strong. Rising from the back of the diner, Mrs. Petty spoke, her face creased with warmth and resolve. If there's one thing I know about Maplewood, it's that love for our roots will always lead us home. That sentiment spurred something deep within Lucy. What was she really fighting for? It wasn't just the diner. It was for a piece of their shared identity, a battle worth waging. Yet even with the community positioned to take action, Lucy couldn't shake the feeling that deeper forces were already at work, threatening to uproot everything they had built. Gathering her thoughts, she posed a question that hung in the air like a challenge. Are we ready to show the world just what the heart of the Midway means to us? The silence fell deep, once more, pregnant with both hope and fear. The unmistakable tremble of uncertainty could be felt, whispering the fear of failure. As everyone sat there, the night poised on the brink of transformation, Lucy's heart pounded with possibility. What was their first step? Would they rise to the occasion, or would whispers of resistance pull them back into indecision? The murmur of voices slowly morphed into an undercurrent of excitement. Lucy looked around the room, taking in the faces of her friends, neighbors, and even strangers. Some wore hopeful smiles, while others appeared deep in thought somewhere between apprehension and exhilaration. Breaking the stillness, Mr. Tompkins cleared his throat, his voice warm as honey. "You know," he began, "I've been in this diner long enough to see it as more than just a building. It's a collection of our lives, every cup of coffee shared, every tear shed over a slice of pie after heartbreak. A festival sounds fantastic, but let's make sure we honor those memories as we push forward." A chorus of nods agreed with him, lifting Lucy's spirits. "Absolutely. We can blend our past with a vibrant future," she chimed back, her heart swelling with gratitude and purpose. "We'll collect stories from everyone, celebrate what has shaped us into who we are today." The crowd fidgeted slightly at this new task, but Lucy sensed their eagerness bubbling beneath the surface. She thought of the stories, waiting to be shared: the elderly couple who had met at the diner, the high school band who played their first gig there, the families who made it a weekend ritual. She could almost hear their voices in her mind. With renewed determination, Lucy raised her hands. "Let's hold a story-collecting night. We'll set up a few tables outside, right on the sidewalk outside the diner, and invite people to come share their tales. We can record them, write them down, or even have some volunteers share them as part of the festival." The crowd erupted in thoughtful murmurs, and Lucy spotted the skeptical young woman from before, now gripping the edge of the table. "And what's to stop the town from shutting us down? You know, they're not going to want competing events." Lucy felt her chest tighten at the reminder of the challenges they'd face, but then a spark ignited within her. This wasn't just an event, it was a movement. If they hear us loud and clear, standing together with our stories, they won't be able to ignore us. We're Maplewood. We have a legacy worth cherishing. She could see the steel in Mrs. Petty's gaze, a fire burning behind those wise eyes. Young people, old folks, families, everyone needs to feel like they're a part of something bigger. Let's create a festival that reflects the heart of our community. And if we've got the story, we've got the power. With that, Lucy felt the room transform again. It was no longer a gathering of hesitant faces, but a melting pot of determination. More hands shot up, people eager to offer their skills. A bakery owner proposed a pie-eating contest. A musician mentioned an open mic night. And a few students suggested they create a mural depicting the diner's history. As discussions flowed, Lucy couldn't shake the feeling that this moment was only the beginning. The weight of their vision pressed upon her, a beautiful burden filled with expectation. The weight of the world felt lighter when held as a community. Yet, even amidst the excitement, a nagging worry crept back. What other obstacles lay ahead? Would the town officials take a liking to their idea, or squelch it before it got off the ground? Lucy glanced around the diner, feeling the adrenaline surge through her. Hope intermingled with fear like a delicate dance. They were teetering on the edge, but had yet to see how far they could leap. As she looked into the eyes of her community, an unsettling realization struck her. Their collective passion would need more than mere stories. It required strength and resilience that, until now, they had rarely tapped into. Let's meet tomorrow evening to organize, or do we dare wait and let the new place drown us out? She asked, her voice steady yet tinged with urgency. And so, as the excitement waned, a silent agreement settled over their gathering. They were no longer just preserving a diner, they were igniting a revolution. But would they be ready for the challenges that lay ahead? Would they muster the courage to confront the forces threatening their very identity? The sun dipped low, casting a warm golden glow over Maplewood. Lucy felt the weight of the world laden on her shoulders as she stood outside the diner, waiting for everyone to arrive for the organizing meeting. She looked up, taking a deep breath, the scent of fried dough wafting through the air. It felt familiar and comforting, like a hug from an old friend. As friends and neighbors trickled in, laughter bubbled up, momentarily easing her tension. Kids ran around the sidewalk, their carefree spirit a stark contrast to the heavy thoughts swirling in Lucy's mind. She caught snippets of conversations. The old stories they planned to share, the laughter, the fights, and the love. It was all wrapped up in this diner, and the thought of losing it made her heart race. "Hey, Lucy!" came a cheerful voice from behind her. It was Sam, the high school band's drummer, with a grin that could light up the darkest room. "You ready to rock this festival?" "More than ready," she replied, trying to match his enthusiasm, though her stomach still twisted with worry. Sam's face quickly turned serious. "But are we really ready for them? What if the town officials come down hard on us? You know how they are." "Yeah, that's the thing," Lucy began, her voice trailing off. She could feel the weight of uncertainty blanket them as she glanced at the other attendees, who started to arrive in clusters. "But if we stand together, we can make them listen. Stories unite. You remember how we did it with the band?" "Of course." "It was the community cheering us on that got us through," he said, a hint of nostalgia in his eyes. "Okay, I'm in. Let's do this." With a nod of determination, Lucy called for everyone's attention. She felt their gazes lock onto her, some faces still full of excitement, while others held shadows of doubt. "Thanks for coming, everyone. This is our moment to shape our festival. But let's not forget, it's also about the stories of our Ahanshachiapi." It was Mrs. Petty, feisty as ever. "We need to plan more than just stories. Let's talk safety, permits, the whole 9 yards." Lucy thought for a second, surprised but appreciative of her wisdom. "Right? We need to prepare, then present ourselves as a united front. We'll gather the stories and show them who we are." More voices chimed in, plotting alongside her. Some proposed discounts at the diner for story contributors. Others suggested outreach to nearby folks who might have connections with the town council. As they brainstormed, Lucy's heart swelled at the unity forming before her eyes. But then, the doubt crept back. What if all their efforts weren't enough? The town had grown increasingly protective over newcomers. The tension had been palpable recently, and Lucy worried their festival could become the tipping point for an ugly confrontation. "Okay, everyone, quick. Let's break into teams," she encouraged, her voice rising above the rustle. "We have tasks to delegate publicity, decorations, and food. We can make this happen." As they mobilized into their groups, Lucy found herself holding back tears. These were not just her neighbors. They were her family. Each face radiated a shared purpose that warmed her heart. The diner had been their lifeline, and together they would pour every ounce into saving it. But her mind wandered again, lingering on fears of what lay ahead. Moments of triumph always seemed to tremble at the edges of uncertainty. At last, as the sun surrendered to twilight, a palpable determination hummed in the air. Just then, Lucy's phone buzzed, a notification from the town council meeting. Her heart pounded. Was this it? The moment everything would take a turn. She could feel the eyes of her community on her, filled with expectation. Would this meeting become their breakthrough, or perhaps their breaking point? The room buzzed with energy as Lucy read the message on her phone for what felt like the 100th time. The town council had finally scheduled its meeting. It was happening sooner than she expected. The community needed heart, but it also required strategy and representation. She took a deep breath, trying to steady the whirlwind of emotions swirling within her. "Let's get back together, everyone," Lucy called out, her voice cutting through fragments of chatter and laughter. She tried to project confidence, though her inner self felt like a jigsaw puzzle missing a piece. The gathering shifted, and anxious faces turned toward her. "Here's the deal," she said, tapping the notification to pull up the details. "The town council is meeting next week. We need to present our case for the festival and for saving the diner. This is our chance." A low murmur spread through the crowd, and Lucy noticed sun-faded smiles turn uncertain. "We need representatives from every area of our town. This is a community effort, not just ours." Mrs. Petty, sitting near the front, shifted in her chair. "But what if they don't listen? What if they don't care about our stories?" The doubt in her voice mirrored the aching apprehension in Lucy's chest. "If we gather enough support, they'll have to listen." Lucy countered, and her heart raced at the realization that she was selling the concept as much to herself as to them. The stories we share, they matter. Stories of how the diner has been a safe space, a hot meal for those in need, a gathering place where memories are made. Sam piped in, his enthusiasm shining once more. "And we can present a petition. Get signatures from everyone. Show them what it means to us, what it meant to our parents, and even our kids." He gestured towards several children playing tag nearby. "They need to know this isn't just nostalgia. It's part of our lives." Yes, Lucy felt a spark of hope as eyes lit up around the room. They need to understand the impact how losing the diner would mean losing a part of ourselves. She glanced around, noticing heads nodding in agreement, families bonding with shared emotion. As discussions sparked around her, Lucy felt the unity solidify like bonds forged by fire. It wasn't perfect. Ideas bounced between excitement and fear, but everyone seemed to channel their passion toward this single goal. "Okay, let's organize a potluck at the diner this weekend. Lucy declared, her voice rising with spirit. "We'll gather stories and testimonies, make signs, and prepare for the meeting. It has to show how crucial this diner is to the fabric of Maplewood." Suddenly, the door swung open and the town's mayor stepped inside, looking around. An air of seriousness enveloped him as he scanned the crowd. Lucy's heart raced. Did he come to rally support or dash their hopes? She squared her shoulders. "Everyone, let's show our best faces. He needs to see us, every single one of us." As the mayor approached her, a sense of dread and anticipation washed over her. What would he say? He opened his mouth, and Lucy held her breath, feeling the crowd's pulse quicken. But before he could speak, a child's laughter erupted from the back of the room, cutting through the tension completely. "What's that all about?" the mayor asked, a hint of a smile breaking through his serious facade. Lucy saw her chance. "We're telling stories, sir. We're keeping our diner alive. It's our heart." The weight of the moment hung in the air, and Lucy suddenly wondered if they were prepared for whatever would follow. Would this confrontation with authority unravel their dreams? Or could it spark the change they desperately needed? She could feel that familiar stirring of doubt creeping back in, thick and heavy. With so much riding on this meeting, Lucy knew they were at the edge of something much bigger than protecting a diner. So, what happens if they fail to convince the town? What happens if this gathering only highlights their vulnerabilities instead of their strengths? As she looked into the sea of faces before her, resolutions brewing like hot coffee, Lucy could only hope for the strength to face whatever came next. Would it be a night of celebration or devastation? Only time would tell. The mayor's gaze softened, and Lucy's heart raced. His presence felt like both a blessing and a threat. The crowd was waiting. She could feel the weight of their anticipation. He cleared his throat, and the room fell silent, ears straining to catch every word. "Well, this is quite the assembly," he said, his voice warm yet firm. "I must say, I have heard whispers of these community concerns regarding the diner and the upcoming festival. It's commendable to see everyone banding together. But we have to be realistic." Lucy felt a chill run through her. Community concerns. Realistic. Too often, that meant dismissive. But before she let her fears consume her, she made eye contact with Sam, who nodded encouragingly. They could do this. The mayor continued, "You're all passionate about your diner, but I want to know, what do you expect from us? Just another meeting, or something more?" With her heart pounding louder than before, Lucy stepped forward, compelled by something deeper than doubt. "We want a chance to show you how important our diner really is. It isn't just a restaurant. It's a place of belonging, of stories, where the heartbeat of our town resonates." The crowd murmured in agreement, and Lucy felt emboldened. If you give us a platform, we can share real stories, real faces of the people it affects. We can illustrate not just nostalgia, but the very essence of who we are as Maplewood. Mrs. Petty chimed in, her voice growing confident. "My son proposed to his wife at that diner. That couldn't just be a memory. It's a part of our future." A chorus of voices joined in, sharing snippets of why the diner mattered to them. Tailies flowed people, recalling their first job, the crazy trivia nights, even the smells of cinnamon buns on a chilly morning. Each story solidified the bond in the room, and Lucy knew this was what the mayor needed to see. The mayor frowned slightly, seemingly overwhelmed by the tide of emotion. This is all very compelling, but it needs to be organized. I can't promise a miraculous change without proper documentation and support. You'll need petitions, testimonies, perhaps even some data on the diner's influence, something concrete. A wave of uncertainty washed over Lucy again. Data. Would their heartfelt stories be dismissed as mere fluff? But then she thought about what Sam had said. We can do that. She shouted, clenching her fists as determination surged through her. Let's gather hundreds of stories, form something that cannot be ignored. Lucy felt the enthusiasm rushing back, like a summer storm. All she had to do was guide this energy. All right, folks. Lucy called, her voice cracking with passion. We're going to create a movement, a concert of voices. We'll set up booths for signatures all around town, showcase the diner's role during the festival, and even compile video testimonies. Let's make sure every heart has a chance to be heard. Cheers erupted, electrifying the atmosphere. The mayor couldn't help but smile at the infectious spirit igniting the room. But as the excitement surged, Lucy sensed a profound truth. It wasn't just about saving the diner. It was about belonging to something greater than herself, something that connected them all. But just then a loud crash sounded from the front of the room, and everyone turned to see a young girl on the floor, her beloved stuffed animal strewn by her side. She was sobbing, and at that moment, all the laughter and plans faded, replaced by the stark reality that echoed deeper connections. Lucy rushed to her aid, kneeling beside her. Hey there, what's your name? She asked gently. Carly. The girl sniffled, her little face streaked with tears. I wanted to tell my story, but I got scared. B.R. In that moment, Lucy realized there were emotions they hadn't yet tapped into: fear, vulnerability, the struggle to let one's voice be heard against the odds. But even as doubts crept back, she also felt a surge of resilience. This meeting was not just about safeguarding the diner anymore. It was about empowering every individual, small and big, to stand up, to share, to connect. As Lucy comforted Carly, she felt the weight of responsibility in her heart. How far would she go to ensure that everyone felt they had a place in this narrative? What surprises awaited them while intertwining all these stories? With a glimpse of determination shining in her eyes, Lucy pondered what their next steps would be. Would they truly uncover everyone's tales, from the littlest voices to the loudest, and would those tales shine through in the end? Lucy knelt beside Carly, gently picking up the stuffed animal and brushing off the dust. Hey, it's okay, she said softly, her voice a warm hug. You don't have to be scared. We're all here to listen. Everyone has a story worth telling, even you. Carly looked up, her big eyes shimmering with tears. But what if nobody wants to hear mine? Believe me, they do, Lucy promised, her heart swelling. A story, no matter how small it feels, can make a huge difference. You're a part of this community. Just like everyone else, she held the stuffed animal close for comfort and gave it a reassuring squeeze, igniting a small smile on Carly's face. As Lucy helped Carly stand, the crowd shifted from the mayor to the two of them. The energy changed, becoming tender rather than frantic. It was a reminder that amidst the plans for movement and advocacy, people needed to connect on a more personal level. Lucy smoothed Carly's hair back, whispering to her, Why don't you tell me why your stuffed animal is special? Carly's eyes brightened a little, and she held her creature tighter. His name is Mr. Cuddles. I got him when I was a baby. He helps me feel not so alone. The audience watched, holding their breath as Lucy warmed to Carly's story. That's wonderful. Mr. Cuddles sounds like a brave friend, she said, nodding encouragingly to the audience who seemed to resonate with the innocent bond. Just like that, other people in the crowd began to share their own little stories. An elderly man spoke up, recalling how he used to bring his little granddaughter to the diner every Sunday, a ritual that still warmed his heart. Someone else talked about how they had met their best friend while playing arcade games there. Each story was a thread, weaving a tapestry of the community's shared love for this little diner. As word after word filled the room, the mayor listened intently, taking notes. There was magic in the air, something Lucy had hoped for, something that felt like hope. With each personal narrative, support grew stronger. Faced with the raw honesty of their stories, the prior barriers began to dissolve. Then suddenly the wear on his face. I must say, I didn't fully grasp the impact this place has had on all of you, I'll be honest. I believed it was just a diner, but hearing all these stories, it's changed my perspective. The crowd erupted in cheers, but Lucy noticed the mayor was still looking contemplative. But he added quickly, halting the applause, we still need to move forward. I need to know that this passion can translate into action. Let's set a deadline for these stories and start gathering your signatures. We need to show the evidence. Lucy nodded, her heart racing again, this time with excitement mixed with the slightest hint of doubt. Could they really mobilize everyone in such a short time? The urgency settled over her like a heavy blanket. Okay, everyone, this is it. We have a chance to make our voices heard. Lucy shouted, rallying the crowd with her energy. Let's meet back here in a week. We'll create a structure, gather stories, and draw up petitions. No one gets left behind. We're all part of this. Cheers erupted again. Carly squeezed Mr. Cuddles, finally beaming with a sense of belonging. Sharing didn't just lift a weight off her small shoulders. It spread energy throughout the room, igniting hope. As the meeting began to wane down, Lucy caught a glimpse of the mayor's smile as he conversed with some townspeople. Perhaps they had indeed turned a corner. But Annie's lingered. Could they capture every voice, every emotion, in just a week? And would it be enough? Lucy felt her heart racing as she watched Carly and others exchange numbers, forming immediate connections. She understood it was more than just about saving the diner. It was about building a community that had a shared voice. But just as their spirits soared, Lucy's phone buzzed. She glanced at it. A message popped up. You'll want to hear what's happening next. Things are about to change. What could that mean? A warning or an opportunity? With butterflies in her stomach, she couldn't help but wonder what awaited them just around the corner. The moment Lucy read the message, her heart skipped a beat. She felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety. What could possibly change everything they had worked for? With a tight grip on her phone, she pushed through the crowd, searching for a quiet corner. "Hey, Lucy, wait up," a voice called out. It was Mark, the diner's longtime cook. His apron still dusty from flour and sprinkled sugar, he jagged over a curious expression on his face. "What's up? You look like you've just seen a ghost. Just a text." I'm not sure what it means, but I have this feeling. Lucy paused, catching her breath. Things are happening. Mark, I can feel it in my bones. Mark leaned against the wall, his brow furrowing. Look, I believe in this community, but change doesn't come easy. Especially not for a place that people think is just a diner. You sure you're ready for whatever they throw our way? Lucy nodded, but felt a knot forming in her stomach. Yeah, I have to be. If we can build something from this, make people feel connected, then it's worth it, right? They stood in silence for a moment, reflecting on the weight of their collective stories spilling out that night. Mark finally broke the stillness. You know, it's funny. I spent years battling my own fears and insecurities. I always thought my story was too simple until now. Hearing everyone made me realize we all have something valuable to offer. We need to keep that energy going. His words struck a chord with Lucy. She remembered Carly's soft voice. The way everyone shared their laughter and tears. How in those moments, people became something greater than themselves. Let's set up a time to meet as a group this week, Lucy said, the ideas rolling into her mind like a wave crashing onto the shore. We can discuss everything, share more stories. And maybe, just maybe, create a plan that'll blow them away. Mark smiled, his eyes lighting up. I'm all in. Let's do it. You pick the place. As they parted ways, the excitement bubbled inside Lucy. She walked back to the group, where Carly was chatting animatedly with another child about their favorite toys. The young girl's laughter was like music, and it ignited hope in Lucy's heart, the idea that they could really turn the tide. Later that night, Lucy lay in bed, the message still fresh on her mind. She gazed at the ceiling, fingers toying with Mr. Cuddles, which lay on her knitstand in solidarity with Carly's small heart. What was coming? Was it really something that could change everything they stood for? She sighed, feeling both thrilled and terrified by the unknown. Monday rolled around. The diner was buzzing with the energy of anticipation. Lucy arrived early, fueled by coffee and determination. She set up a space in the back, arranging tables for people to gather, share, and plan. As others trickled in, she sensed the underlying current of nervous excitement in the air. Lucy! A voice shouted. It was the mayor, striding in with an uncharacteristic grin. I think you'll want to hear this. Her heart raced again. What was it? The message loomed larger now, like an unseen force ready to unfurl. She waved him over, her thoughts racing. Was it good news? Bad news? The people were gathering, drawn by curiosity and concern. They exchanged glances. Their anxious expressions mirrored Lucy's own anticipation. The conversations hushed as the mayor approached the microphone. You all have shared incredible stories, but today... He paused, looking around the room as if weighing the significance of his next words. Today, I come to you with something that may just surprise you. Are you ready? Lucy's heart hammered in her chest. This was it, the moment she had been waiting for. As hope and fear clashed within her, she held her breath, eager and afraid of what came next. What truth could be pressing against the door? Everyone leaned in, but the answer was about to shift the ground beneath them all. The mayor cleared his throat, the crowd hanging on every word. Today, I come to announce that the corporate chain has chosen not to proceed with building their new diner in Maplewood. They've heard the buzz, the excitement, and the power of your stories. And they've decided that this community deserves to keep its heart beating. The room erupted into joyous cheers, clapping, and laughter, each sound vibrating with disbelief and delight. Lucy's heart soared, her emotions spilling over into bright, gleaming joy. She looked around, searching for familiar faces, finding Mr. Tompkins, who held his hands together, tears glistening in his eyes. "Can you believe this?" Sam shouted, jumping up and down. "We did it! We actually did it!" As laughter and excitement filled the heart of the Midway, Lucy felt a warmth spreading through her heart, intertwining with the love and camaraderie that enveloped everyone present. It wasn't just a win for the diner. It was a victory for Maplewood itself, the stories, the memories, the connections that strengthened their community. "Now, that doesn't mean our work is done," the mayor continued, his voice a calm but powerful anchor. "You've proven that passion ignites change, but we still have to build the festival. Let's live out those stories and celebrate who we are." The realization hit Lucy like a wave. They weren't finished. They were only just starting. This moment was a turning point. No longer was the Hand threat. It had transformed into a symbol of resilience, a place where every individual had a voice and each story mattered deeply. "We need to keep the momentum going," Lucy shouted, exhilaration thrumming in her veins. The crowd roared in agreement. "Let's get to work." Over the next week, words became actions. Flyers were printed, stories were gathered, and warmth emanated through the diner like a burning flame. Lucy watched as kids drew, murals celebrating their cherished diner, as families dusted off their cherished memories to share. Mark whipped up an array of delicious dishes, while community members volunteered to set up booths filled with rich conversations and engaging activities. Lucy could hardly believe how far they had come in such a short time. Every corner of the diner buzzed with excitement, and the festival was taking shape before her very eyes. News spread like wildfire throughout Maplewood, everyone coming together to celebrate who they were, their triumph over adversity, and their commitment to nurturing connection. On the day of the festival, the air thrummed with life. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze, laughter floated on the warm, golden sunlight that blanketed the town. Children dashed about with cotton candy, and music floated through the air as laughter spilled from booths. As Lucy stood at the entrance, surveying the joy that had blossomed, a wave of gratitude washed over her. This was more than just a celebration of their beloved diner. It was a realization of belonging. She had turned storms of fear into an ocean of hope. Mr. Tompkins approached her, proud yet emotional. "You did it, Lucy. You turned fear into fire. Look at our town. It's alive." Tears glimmered in Lucy's eyes, and she allowed herself a moment to embrace the truth. They had faced the pressure together and woven a tapestry of memories, old and new, into something vibrant and beautiful. Carly rushed over, clutching Mr. Cuddles with glee. "I told my story today. I felt brave." "Of course you did. Everyone shares stories today," Lucy replied, her heart swelling with pride. The spirit of perseverance that filled every heart that day ignited something beyond their immediate goals. It created a community. With every story shared and every laugh exchanged, respect flourished and connections solidified. They weren't just fighting for the diner anymore. They were fighting for the essence of Maplewood, and they were winning together. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the festival pulsed with life. Lucy stood amidst the joy and laughter, feeling invigorated. Yes, they'd faced obstacles. They had felt fear and doubt, but they had emerged stronger, braver. That night, under a blanket of twinkling stars, Lucy took a deep breath, allowing her spirit to soar. "This is what home feels like," she whispered softly, feeling the heartbeat of their community reverberate within her. And she knew every drop of sweat, every tear shed, and every fear faced had been worth it. Together, they had turned their beloved diner into a beacon of hope, reminding them that home wasn't confined to bricks and mortar. It was the stories, laughter, and lives intertwined within those walls. At that moment, Lucy closed her eyes, holding on to the warmth of this transformation. She had stood up for who they were, and they had risen together, their hearts forever tied to the pulse of the heart of the Midway. The journey had only just begun, but they would face it unafraid, hand in hand, heart to heart. And now, it's your turn. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you. Leave a like. Now your support feeds the algorithm and helps spread the love. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. Your voice matters. And don't wait, not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Together, let's create a ripple of change.